Welcome to Lake Garda. I'm going to show you around, I'm going to show you the things to do, I'm going to show you the amazing food, and I'm going to show you the different towns around the lake because there's a lot to do here. And I'm going to show you how the ferry situation works because it's not what you think. Welcome to Lake Garda, subscribe, let's get into it.
So I spent 4 days exploring Lake Garda, and in that time I visited Sirmione, Garda, Bardalino, Desenzano, Limone Sul Garda, Malcesine, and Salo. I completely mispronounced every one of those names, by the way, but this was one of the best trips of my life, and I'm going to show you everything that Lake Garda has to offer. And by the way, I'm showing you the real side of this Italian holiday destination, not the picture-perfect cropped photos. Let's see the best things to do in Lake Garda, the best things to eat, and the hidden gems that you don't want to miss out on. Speaking of, drop any questions you have in the comments, and welcome to back to me vlogging.
Welcome to one of the most beautiful places in the world, with incredible food and rich history, and a bunch of other stuff, which I'll cover. Yeah, no, it's turning into a casual vlog now. That's what's happening. Alright, let's get into it.
Our travels to Lake Garda starts in the home base of Sirmione. Now obviously when in Italy, one of the first things you have to do is buy some pizza. So we bought some pizza, and instead of paying the fees to sit down, you have to pay fees to sit down, by the way, we just took it and sat by the water, which is then free. And it's not a bad view either.
We have a vegetarian pizza. Yeah. That is delicious.
This cheese was absolutely phenomenal. It was really drippy, is that the word? You know what I mean? Just like when it stretches. The food was phenomenal, the view was phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal.
All in all, it was a great first thing to do when in Lake Garda. After that, we walked around the town. So we're staying here in this town. It's called Sirmione. I might be pronouncing that wrong. And this is like a narrow peninsula that stretches about 4 kilometers, and it's really, really beautiful. It actually ended up being my favorite of the towns. Don't worry, I'm going to show you a bunch throughout this video. And this town has been inhabited since the Stone Age. Yes, it is touristy though, but you will see the other towns as well are pretty touristy. That is kind of part of the package when you come to Lake Garda. But from what I've heard, it's a lot less touristy than Lake Como. But that said, throughout the day, you're not like walking amongst locals and stuff. You are walking amongst tourists. And you know, a lot of the shops are tourist shops or restaurants that are catering for tourists. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Still beautiful. I think that's worth mentioning, but I'm going to show you so much in this video and my favorite places around Lake Garda. Now, one of the impressive attractions in the town is the Sirmione Castle, and this was built in the 13th century by the family who ruled Verona and much of the surrounding region. It actually served as a strategic military fortress that guarded the southern entrance to Lake Garda, and it protected this peninsula. I'm 99% sure you can do tours inside. We didn't do that though, but it's still very pretty to look at from the outside. Plus there's ducks. I mean, who doesn't like ducks, you know?
So, because this town is quite touristy, there's a lot of, they're trying to get you to shop. But I've just decided to play it safe and not buy anything.
I'm lying. I bought new glasses.
Wow.
I bought new glasses.
They're nice.
I bought new glasses.
Expensive.
I bought new glasses.
They're really cool.
Yeah, I bought new glasses.
They look good, I think.
I bought new glasses.
No, we get the point now.
I bought new glasses.
Yeah, you've said that now, okay.
I bought new glasses.
Yeah.
I bought new glasses.
They're expensive.
Yeah, I bought new glasses.
Luxury purchase.
I bought new glasses. Wait, what did you do? I bought new glasses.
They were €10. I forgot to pack some. I don't mean to brag, but I bought new glasses.
Yeah, we know.
But that's not what this is about. The gelato servings here are massive. They're like, the smallest is like a bucket. I don't understand it. Every single person's ice cream that I've looked at is like falling over, just like, it's huge. I don't understand why every single person is just going crazy over gelato. I mean, like, have some self-restraint, you know? Like, you don't have to have an ice cream in your hand at all times. Oh, so delicious. This, by the way, is the small. I said, I'll have the small. This is the small, as in, it's the smallest possible size you could get. Insane.
After this, we kind of just walked around and enjoyed the town. Whilst this footage here is playing of Sirmione, just worth mentioning, if you have any questions about Lake Garda and my honest thoughts, just drop the question in the comments and I'll get back to you. I want this video to be like the all-in-one resource that you need for things to do in Lake Garda, things to see, and what it actually feels like, not the, Instagram version, but the real version. So if you're finding this helpful or enjoyable so far, then please subscribe and like the video as well. It would mean a lot. Then after a few hours of walking, it was time for dinner, and yeah, it was pizza again. This one was a lot cheaper. This was like a kind of cafe style pizza.
All right, let's see if it's any good. Okay, yeah. Easily the worst of the lot. But this was €4 for the slice. The others have been like 8 or 9 euros per slice, so it's not cheap. This is easily the cheapest, but it tastes the cheapest. But you know what? I'm not mad. I got a good view, and now I can say I ate nothing but pizza for 24 hours. So who's the real winner here, you know?
Then as we were eating the pizza, these birds got very comfortable.
Hello, buddy. I have a feeling you're pretty used to people here. No, don't take the pizza. They're flying absolutely everywhere for pizza. I'm pretty sure they're... Oh my god.
And after they get one bite of pizza, hell breaks loose. They were, I don't know, 30 to 50 of these birds flying around everywhere, trying to grab a slice of pizza, and by the end you kind of just give up. They're either landing on you and literally taking it out of your hand, or they're jumping onto your plate to grab the pizza right off there. It was just, it started becoming chaos.
So, I think they're pretty used to people here. There are so many birds here, I'm pretty sure they're used to people. Oh my god, I was eating and they just came along. I know they're probably not meant to eat the food, but in fairness, I was eating and they just came and landed on my hand and started snatching it up. They're absolutely everywhere. Look how used to people they are. Hello. I'm really impressed by like their wing control. Like, they're so stable.
After that, we were pretty drained, and we just walked around town checking out new streets and stuff that we hadn't looked at yet. Absolutely every street is gorgeous. The architecture is so nice, and it's just such a beautiful town.
It's such a massive contrast of being here in the evening versus being here in the middle of the day. In the middle of the day, it was packed. There was so many people. In the evening, it is like the perfect balance of not too many people and not mainly locals, but a lot more locals, you know, walking their dog and stuff. Yeah, just really, really nice. Oh wow, what a beautiful view.
After that, we headed home as my body needed to digest the 3 pizzas that I had eaten that day.
Good morning, it is day 2. We are now heading to a place that I don't know the name of, so I'm just going to mouth something and then fix it in post. We are now going to
Garda. That was easy.
So that's exciting, and I'll show you what it's like there. Let's do it.
Now, understanding how the ferries work in Lake Garda is very, very important. I'll get to that later in the video. I'll talk about that quite extensively, as it is probably going to be your main way of transport. And when we arrived in Garda, there was a market.
We're at a market.
Okay, that wasn't very useful. I guess I'll have to do a voiceover. There's actually not much to say. It was a pretty small market. So after that, we just walked along not the coastline, the lake line. I don't know what it's called. Do lakes have coastlines? Whatever that's called, we walked around that.
I swear, this water is just like the reason for subscribing to my channel. Crystal clear. Subscribe.
So this town of Garda here actually gives Lake Garda its name. So it wasn't the other way around. The town was named first, and then the lake was named after this town.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
In the shade as well, in the water, you could see these fish that are just massive. I don't know anything about fish, but comment below if you know the species, because these here are absolutely massive.
Sitting is the opposite of standing. Standing is the opposite of sitting around. Is that copyright? I apologize, Brian.
The views were absolutely stunning, and there's just so many trees, and you can't play football, can't ride a bike, can't have a picnic, can't eat, can't walk your dog, or can't walk. But we kept walking until we got to these like restaurants and stuff, and thought maybe it's time for a little treat.
This whole town just has seats facing the waterfront with amazing food. All right, it looks amazing. I haven't bought any. You haven't seen the prices yet, all right? Don't judge me. They're pretty expensive. But you know what? For a view like this, and for presumably decent food, I get it.
So instead, we kept walking until we got closer to the town. I got distracted and looked at some birds.
Aren't you gorgeous? Yes, you are. Hello. Oh, you're so pretty.
So we walked around the town, and it was really, really beautiful. Again, you know, very touristy. You can kind of expect that in all these towns, or at least from my experience. most of the towns were pretty touristy. You're walking around with a lot of tourists and stuff, and you know, a lot of tourist shops here, as you can see. But still, it's very fun. I mean, it's an absolutely gorgeous town, and it's also vibrant and colorful, and it's just lovely vibes, you know, just a great time. We stayed in a hotel in Sirmione, but apparently Garda is also a very good area to stay as like your local hub, because apparently a lot of the ferries stop at Garda. So that's one thing to really bear in mind. If you're coming to Lake Garda, choose the town that has ferries actually arriving there often. Not so you have, you know, one option, we have to catch this ferry at this very specific time. Again, I'll talk about ferry stuff more later on. All in all, Garda is a beautiful town, and if you're staying in Lake Garda and you're planning on doing trips to local towns, I would put this one on the list. It was very enjoyable.
Are we thinking the same thing? It would be so fun to own an electric surfboard here. We are thinking that, aren't we? Imagine. No sharks. No waves.
For those of you who are interested, I actually found later on that that is an option. There are a bunch of electric surfboard hires around Lake Garda, so check that out if that's your thing.
This is a perfect day. Nothing can bring this down.
I then got pooped on by a bird.
That was very unlucky.
Garda was beautiful, but now it was time to go to the next town. There are so many towns in Lake Garda, so you only really spend a few hours in each town if you're trying to explore a lot of these places.
Alright, we've arrived in the second town of the day, and it's called
Bardalino.
Now we are going to explore. We're going to look for some food because I'm pretty hungry.
So we went out to look for some food. Now there are a lot of restaurants and bars and cafes and everything in these towns, or at least most of these towns, so there are a ton of options, but because it is quite touristy, the prices definitely reflect that. Rizzy shoes, what does that even mean? If I could rearrange the alphabet, I'd put you and I together. And then after a bit of searching, we found a place, and again, instead of getting a sit down, we just ordered a takeaway, because again, in Italy, you have to pay to sit down at restaurants.
Alright, finally time to try some Italian pasta. It's good. Yeah. I feel like I should be doing the thing where I completely exaggerate about how delicious it is, but it's good. Hasn't changed my life. I don't know if much pasta has though, to be honest.
But even though the pasta wasn't life-changing, the view was pretty awesome. After that, it was time for ice cream again. Like, looking back, I see now how much gelato I was eating, but it didn't feel that insane at the time.
And of course, had to do some gelato. We're talking, what are we talking? Hazelnut. Hazelnut gelato. Look, I won't lie, between you and me, they do these, what are they called? Trial, like, test serves. I've had so many. I've practically had this entire serve full of just testers from different stands. And this took the cake, or gelato.
So we ate the gelato and just looked at the ducks and the very many ducklings and the fish. There were some large fish, very, very large. I tried my best to film it, but I don't think the footage is that great.
Those are massive fish. I don't think I'm replacing David Attenborough anytime soon.
We actually stayed there for like 5 minutes because one of the ducklings was swimming in the wrong direction and got lost. And I was trying to come up with a plan if I would like fish out the duckling out of water because it was swimming away from the family. But after 5 minutes, it found its way back. Speaking of finding its way back, we then caught the ferry back home to Sirmione. I'm never going to learn how to pronounce that. We took the ferry, and this ferry here, I don't know if it was filming Fast and the Furious, that is insane. And then when I got home, I had one thing on my mind.
That is quite cold. Alright, so that wraps up the travel today to
Garda
and
Bardalino.
I still don't remember the names. I'm now in the hotel pool, as you can tell. And we are going to go out tonight for probably pizza. Or some form of, you know, bread with cheese and tomato, something like that. Yeah, it's going to be pizza.
But life sometimes surprises you. This wasn't one of those times. We got pizza.
Don't judge me, we did pizza again. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good morning. It was time for breakfast, so I headed out the door and walked down the hallway and did this for some reason. I don't know why I thought that would look cool. Now, the last time I experienced a continental breakfast, I was very young, so I barely remember it. And now I can say I mean, it's probably the greatest thing you could ever experience.
I'm full. I don't think I can have any more.
And then I ate more. I know for a guy who's eaten nothing but pizza and gelato for the past few days, I don't deserve dessert for breakfast. And then it was time to wash down the sugary taste with a coffee, and okay. Yeah, I only had one sugar though, because you really don't need... Okay, cut. Can we cut? Someone cut! And now after consuming about 20,000 calories for breakfast, it was time to start the day. And like most days in Lake Garda, it starts with a ferry, and we headed to...
So, we are in Desenzano. If I butchered that pronunciation, here's how you're meant to say it.
Subscribe.
Cool. So we'll walk around, try the food, we'll explore the markets, find stuff to do, and we'll see if Desenzano is worth a visit.
So we walked around a bit, there was more markets, there was harbours, and it was a very lively town. There seemed to be a lot going on.
Me when I hear waiting for the world to change.
They'd also set up like a bunch of these games in the town.
It's rigged. The Johnny Harris in me just can't help but to take a photo of a map. This view looks like an Apple wallpaper. Beautiful.
It really was beautiful, and we just enjoyed it and walked along the esplanade there, taking in the views. Those, the blue mountains there, it just looked stunning, absolutely stunning, and it was nice. There was nothing to think about. I could just switch off my brain, and it was completely empty.
Desenzano, Desenzano, Desenzano.
After the walk along the water, it was now time to walk around the town. So Desenzano is actually the largest town in Lake Garda, with around 30,000 residents, making it the kind of capital of the lake, but it's not actually the official capital or anything. By the way, for those taking the train, it's got one of the busiest train stations around the lake, so it should be an easy town to reach if you don't have a car. And speaking of transport, Desenzano is known for excellent ferry connections, which makes it a perfect base for easily getting to and from other towns. Again, choosing the right town is very important, and it really comes down to ferry connections and all of that. But again, I'll talk about ferry stuff later on.
I've got one mission and one mission only. Find some food.
Add some upbeat music. Whoa, that's too much. Yeah, that's better. Add some suspense, doesn't it? Very dramatic, isn't it? Will we ever find a pizza? I don't know. Actually, I'm lying. It took about 2 minutes.
You know what time it is? It's pizza review time. Alright, let's see if this one's any good. I think this was €6.50. You know what? It's a phenomenal tomato base. It's delicious. I'm quite impressed. Yeah. Well done. Not to you. You didn't make it. To them. But yeah. And not a bad view either. Yachts. Or boats. These aren't yachts. And a lighthouse. Very happy with this.
So I sat there and ate the pizza, and then it was time to go back to answer all of your questions about ferries.
Hello, I'm back, and I'm in the swimming pool again. Alright, so I thought I would just run through the kind of towns and stuff and what I would recommend. If you're going to catch the ferry, which I highly recommend, I would highly recommend a 3-day pass. That way you can go as many times as you want, if I understood correctly, throughout the day. So you can go to, one place for half the day, catch the ferry, go to another place, come back to your location, something like that. Another thing I would recommend is batching together places that are close to each other. That way you're not spending that much time on the ferry, because you might be looking at the ferry thinking, oh, it's probably not that far to the other side. From the bottom to the top, I believe, is 2 hours. So it's quite a long trip on a ferry, just sitting there. Obviously beautiful views and everything, but still. There's also another type of ferry, which is the express ferry, which even if you have the 3-day pass, you have to pay extra for. So that's another thing to bear in mind. I think it's only €4 extra, but still worth considering. In terms of all the places I've been so far, the best one so far that I recommend is actually where we're staying at the moment, which is called Sirmione, I believe. This place, I'd recommend that one the most, just because It's kind of the most lively town throughout the day, and it's got a really nice charm to it at night when everyone has caught the ferry back to, you know, whatever other town they're staying in. Ciao! So in the evening, it's like a really lovely town and just super nice. Cool, hope that helps. Bye-bye!
I then splashed around in the pool for a bit. I was then starving, and it was time for dinner, and I could not do another pizza.
That was 13 euros. That was the cheapest thing we could find. That isn't pizza, but we've had pizza now like 5 days in a row. One day we had it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we kind of getting over pizza. This is, in the nicest way, this tastes like what I would make at home. And it was 13 euro. And bear in mind, we got a takeaway. This is the view. It costs extra to sit down here. If you're not from Europe, I think that's not a normal concept. So yeah, one thing to bear in mind. If you're sitting down at a restaurant, you have to pay more. I think the most expensive we saw at a restaurant was 8 euros extra to sit down. Quite a lot in my opinion, you know. So that is one thing to bear in mind. And this town, Sirmione, there is not a grocery store here, just so you know. So you can't like buy your food and, you know, go back to the hotel or whatever and make it. Also, I hope it doesn't come off as I'm disappointed or anything. I'm still very happy. I don't want to be those people who get, you know, gelato every single night just because everyone else is doing it. Doesn't mean you have to. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Alright, that wraps up the day in Lake Garda. I'll see you tomorrow.
Breakfast time. You know, I still think about this continental breakfast. Just the idea that you can wake up and have endless food for breakfast. We really took full advantage of that.
Good morning. That breakfast was very filling. We are now heading to the boat to go to this place and this place. And we'll see what these towns have to offer.
So we waited for the ferry at this peaceful, tranquil water, where time stood still. And how is this? That ferry is going way too fast. That doesn't look right.
Welcome to your new favorite series, Ferry for Your Thoughts. Today we talk about my thoughts on breakfast. I don't know all you can eat breakfast. Why on earth would you not eat all you can eat? It's free. Well, you know, free, but it's free. I was looking at other people and they were having like, you know, one croissant and one yogurt. It's free. And then later they'll go to a restaurant and spend like 40 euros on a pizza. Just eat all you can eat at an all you can eat restaurant. It's free. Thank you for tuning in to episode 1 of Ferry for Your Thoughts.
And by the time that I was done talking about breakfast, we had arrived at our next location. So this town here is Limone Sul Garda, and I think it was probably the nicest looking town. It was absolutely stunning. I loved walking around here. It is very uphill, as you can probably tell, but it's well worth it. It was really beautiful here.
This town is so beautiful. So up north, I believe it's north, the top bit of the lake, there's a lot more mountains and stuff here. So it's a very different vibe to the ones down south, because down south, or the bottom bit of the lake, whatever that equates to on a map, that bit isn't as mountainous, if mountainous is a word. So it's quite nice. It's very different scenery here, and like the lookouts are just, yeah, beautiful.
I then proceeded to film myself taking like a bunch of thumbnail screenshots, but I just look insane doing this. Now, one thing you'll notice in this town is there's a lot of lemon themed things. And that's because before tourism, lemons were actually the #1 business of Limone. And what's crazy is this is perfect for tourism marketing, even though the name probably actually comes from the Latin limen, which means border, not the fruit. But I just found that out now as of recording. I thought it was named after the lemons. So for about an hour of looking at lemon-themed, souvenirs and stuff, my brain was just racing to come up with a joke.
I've got a joke, I'm working on a joke, but I'm just piecing it together.
And I tried my hardest, and the whole time I was just thinking like, what is a funny joke to do with lemons in this town? And this is what I came up with.
This town likes lemons so much that it's why they drive old cars. Because old cars are called lemons, and this town likes lemon. It wasn't a great joke.
That took me a full hour to come up with, and I tried that joke multiple times.
I can see the joke. Give me a minute. This town is so into lemons. They even drive them.
After a while, I just had to accept that I couldn't think of a funny joke. So instead, I wanted to bring some insightful commentary. Look at that view.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. That was really useful.
So this whole town sits on like the edge of a mountain, and you have like the mountain scenery on one side, and you have the lake scenery on the other side. It's awesome. Because the lemon's like an old car, and Italy has a lot of old cars, and then this town.
Just give up on the joke, it's never gonna work.
These views are absolutely insane. It kind of reminds me of like New Zealand fjord. Yeah, I know. I'm just bragging I've been to a New Zealand fjord. But it kind of does remind me of that.
This place was absolutely gorgeous, and I just walked around and soaked up the atmosphere and the views. I mean, every angle that you looked were just some of the most beautiful views I've ever seen, and I really lived in the moment and tried to, oh, never mind. No, here I am taking a bunch of thumbnail photos. Awesome, mate. Thanks for living in the moment.
It's a 20-degree day, so I thought, what should I wear today? It's beautiful, it's really warm outside. You're gonna be hiking up and down hills. Maybe I'll wear the thickest pants I could possibly find. Do you know how boiling I am? For a town that's so far away from everything, there are a lot of people.
What is he driving, a lemon? Hey, it's me, in the future, editing this video. The lemon joke is never going to work, okay? After enjoying the views at the top, I made my way down to the promenade.
Just walking the promenade, looking for something. I won't say what it is, but you probably have figured it out by now. Apple cider.
That's right, I walked the town looking for apple cider. But then after a while, I had to give up and just have a lemon-flavored ice cream instead. So we got the ice cream and went and sat down by the water.
Alright, here we have the very famous lemon ice cream in a lemon. Oh, that's incredible. That's 10 out of 10. Oh my god.
So we sat there eating the ice cream, enjoying the view, as a few feathered friends swam up to us, hoping they would get some ice cream. You're not getting any ice cream, mate. And it was incredible.
It was incredible. It was a joke. It was a lemon ice cream. Because lemons.
I don't even remember the joke that I was setting up there. I really tried so hard to come up with a funny lemon joke. I never managed to think of one.
That's a lot of lemon taste though. I think I'm done. I've had enough lemon.
Now obviously that was a lemonade joke because it was time to try the most authentic lemonade of all lemonades in the entire world. This is as lemonade can get. Literally lemons just squeezed into a cup with, I don't know if it was water or sparkling water. I can't remember, you can see the bottle there. But lemonade cannot become more lemonade than this lemonade. So let's see if this lemonade is worth the hype.
When life gives you lemons. It's good.
No, do another attempt. You can really sell this. This is delicious, right?
Absolutely. Delicious.
Then after that, we took the ferry to the next town. So this town here is called Malcesine, I think, and it's actually one of the most photographed towns in Lake Garda, known for its dramatic setting between the lake and Monte Baldo. The town's medieval old center features narrow cobblestone alleys, pastel houses, hidden cafes, and tiny artisan shops. And this place is famous because the town is connected to Monte Baldo by cable car, which we didn't end up doing, but apparently the views are well worth it. It had just been a long day, and yeah, we didn't put it on the agenda. But one thing we did put on the agenda was to eat yet another meal. So we went out looking for something to eat. And we found this charming place here and got this wonderful looking sandwich. And we walked back down and ate this by the water.
Focaccia acquired, Fanta acquired. Now to find a seat.
And we managed to get a great seat, and I had high expectations, as you could tell.
Oh my god. That is phenomenal. That is so delicious. It's like really salty and oily bread, jam-packed with grilled vegetables.
It was a great time. I ate my sandwich and drank my Fanta.
These towns up here along the upper side of the lake are just like so incredible. You just have these amazing mountain views, whichever side of the lake you're on. So nice. We've now crossed over the lake, so we were on the other side in that lemon town. I've forgotten the name. I'll call it Lemon Town. I was a bit worried that it was going to be like so many people that it was kind of not peaceful. But I think it strikes like a good balance of having, you know, enough people here that it's lively and fun and stuff, but not too many that you can't walk and stuff. We're not here in peak summer. I've seen clips of, you know, Lake Garda during summer, and it's from the looks of it, a very different vibe, but like perfect temperature right now. I think it's like 20 degrees and like, yeah, not peak tourism. So it's great vibes. It's beautiful. Yeah, really, really recommend it. This is really nice. And they have Fanta. Fanta sponsored me.
After that, I made my way up to the Castello, the famous 13th century castle that's perched on the cliff overlooking the lake. I had heard rumors of how beautiful this was, so I had to make my way up. I trekked through the town, through the alleys, guiding my way up the mountain to find this famous historic place. Signs around every corner. I was getting close. The crowds won't stop me. The warm weather shall not stop me. I shall see this magnificent castle. I was getting closer to the castle. I could sense it. And there it was, the magnificent building, towering over the lake. But there was an entry fee, so I decided to walk back down. We didn't end up staying in this town much longer. We kind of walked around a bit, had a look at stuff, then it got absolutely boiling, so I bought myself a Pepsi by the water whilst we waited for the ferry. Then after that, we took that said ferry back home. And that wrapped up the evening. One more day left in Lake Garda. Like all days here in Lake Garda, I started with a coffee and an unhealthy amount of breakfast. No, not more. That's enough, right? Yeah, you can't fit any more in. Oh, you did? Oh, great, awesome. And before starting the day, I thought I'd take a little dip in the pool.
Good morning. Today is going to be a very chill day. I'm going to be in the pool. Then it sounded like I said I'm going to pee in the pool. I'm going to be in the pool. Oh, and I should probably eat lunch at one point. Wait, 2 seconds. Watch me do a handstand. Was that cool?
And then I thought I'd film a montage of me swimming. It looked cooler in my head. I was like, man, this is going to look so cinematic and it's going to look so cool. But this footage here, it doesn't look like I'm relaxed. It just looks like I died. But now it was time to get a move on. Time to start the day and jump on a ferry. Oh, he's having pizza again?
Give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs. That is boiling. Delicious though. That is really good. Very thick base though. Surprisingly delicious. I don't even know how to hold this properly. I like my cheese drippy, bruh. We are today heading to Salo for the last day. Yeah, we'll explore, look around. Last day of Lake Garda. Very excited. Super beautiful. Yeah, cool. All right, let's explore Salo. Okay, we are now in Salo. Salo? We're here.
And this actually has the longest lakeside promenade in Lake Garda. And we didn't end up doing the whole walk, but we did a reasonable amount. It's actually 2 kilometers long, so it's a long walk if you're up for that. And yeah, it was really, really beautiful there.
It's an absolutely beautiful day today. I think it's 23 degrees outside, which is quite warm. And yeah, water's still, people are out. I think it's pretty impossible for people not to be out in this town or in any of these towns on Lake Garda, but still, yeah, just super, super nice. That is such a beautiful mountain range in the background. I don't think it's coming across that well on camera, but it's like, yeah, beautiful.
Lake Garda actually ended up being one of my favorite places in Italy, if not my favorite place in Italy. If you haven't watched my other vlogs of Italy, I'd recommend checking them out. The video's not done yet, by the way. I have more to come. Just worth mentioning. If you're planning a trip to Italy, I have a bunch of videos, but Lake Garda really blew me away. I thought it was incredible. The views, the vibes, just everything about it. And Salo was no exception. And after a bit of walking, of course, I thought I deserved dessert because, you know, it had been 31 minutes since I'd eaten.
All right, let's see if this is any good. Huh. I thought it'd be like soft. I won't lie, it just tastes like stale bread with vanilla cream cheese.
Now, if you haven't seen any of my other vlogs, I normally have like some end lesson or something that kind of wraps up the video nicely, but I really didn't know how I was going to end this video. I have had an amazing time in Lake Garda. It's been absolutely beautiful, and I only spent, you know, a few hours here in Salo, but it was an incredible time. And but I didn't know how I was going to end this trip here to Lake Garda. How do you summarize everything that I've experienced here? How do you find the perfect ending to the perfect trip? So I waved goodbye to this very friendly spider, got on the ferry, and I think there was only one obvious answer.
Pizza. By the pool. It's actually really good pizza. Happy.